We come to FOMO here in the lunch hour here in Chicago. Chipotle, I know that this is a place that certainly in my younger years I frequented probably more than I should have, but it's a great location. It's one that in some ways has set the standard for fast, convenient food and how to scale a business but not lose quality.
That's a good way to put it too. And also how to show people how to use its own products well. Not just products, but I always joke about this when I'm talking to Oliver. You can get 2 meals out of a burrito bowl, and it's become one of those stocks that are doing well in a downturn because people know that, because maybe they don't want to go to McDonald's. That's usually a stock that does extremely well in a downturn as well. But they have options at Chipotle that are different. And today, this stock is seeing a little bit more activity, although it is slightly lower. It was named a fresh pick over at Baird. Now, this analyst says that he sees signs of strong same-store sales momentum when it comes to traffic, rather, not sales, but traffic that'll eventually translate into sales, right? But he says that Chipotle is remaining the top idea for investors with a 12-month horizon, and that they see an attractive near-term trading opportunity for the shares. Now, this is also based on the potential of multiple positive catalysts to emerge in the coming months for Chipotle, and that's why Baird also reiterates its outperform rating on the stock. And this stock, by the way, Chipotle Mexican Grill, is up year to date by a huge measure, almost 40% higher year to date. It's outpacing the S&P 500, of course, and people are still buying burritos.
This has been a name that seemingly, as long as I've covered markets, has consistently outperformed. Might not be up the same margins you see a name like NVIDIA at any given point, but it has been a steady outperformer. I mean, really the only downturns that I can remember are around COVID, where everything was lower. It snapped back by, May of 2020, it was already at new all-time highs, where you didn't see that in very many other names, as it was able to adapt and move quickly. It's always been able to drive hype, be it new product releases or ways to kind of get your bowl or burrito or taco or whatever it may be. Consistent control over its own price, and that elasticity of the demand allowing for increases in prices, yet no drop off in the amount of burritos or burrito bowls that they're selling. But it had been a little bit more of a sideways performer, I would say, in 2022. But the market itself was lower. So even at that time, maybe it's not screeching to new all-time highs, but it's outperforming through resilience. This has been a name that is focused on growth, but also, as I said, really focused on its quality of its product. You talked about the analyst over at Baird and kind of the excitement that they see in this one. And it's really not as much as they want to call it a fresh pick. This is the story of Chipotle. They're kind of highlighting what Chipotle has done so well. It's no surprise that nearly 7 in 10 of analysts that cover it, of which there's over 30 of them, have a buy rating. There's 0 sells. The others are in the hold camp. So tons of optimism here, and a price target from David Tarantino of $2,400. We used to see these big stock prices when you saw Amazon and Alphabet on a daily basis carrying those, but Chipotle, the one holding strong, refusing to split its share price, even though some of those other big ones decided to.
I think that's amazing too. The fact that its stock price is so high, it's not necessarily one of the legacy names that we've seen here for decades on decades. It's a food place. And just to let you guys know, Chipotle now has 3,236 restaurants in the United States as of August 16th of this year. The state with the most Chipotle locations is California. They've got 466, and the company is still, apparently planning to open up more Chipotle locations around the country. So we'll find out just how far it goes in its earnings report, and how many more things that they want to, push forward as the catalyst for this stock.
Along those lines, too, robust growth still, same-store sales. So they got more stores, but they're still growing them, organically at the stores that they have. Some of that's due to pricing going higher, no doubt about it, but it's still impressive. Fairly high margin for a restaurant, too. You don't necessarily associate restaurants, particularly fast casual restaurants or fast convenient restaurants, as high margin businesses, but Chipotle doing its best on that front as well, managing those costs and passing them on in terms of those avocado. Avocado, I don't know if there's avocado futures or not, but if there are, I'm sure Chipotle watches that very, very closely with the guacamole. But this is a name that, for good reason, one, because, kind of what Warren Buffett said, people like to invest in things they like. A lot of people, especially younger, folks, really are fans of this place as a place to frequent for lunch, for dinner. You don't feel so guilty leaving there that maybe you would in some of its peers.
Right.
But also, it's been a winner, and I can't stress that enough. Year to date, 40%. 52 weeks, 20%. From the lows, 44%. You go out in time, and it's very difficult, unless you're on the super short-term basis, post its last earnings. It's really hard to find a time in which this one is underperformed, as it's just been a stock that's done really, really nicely.
Well said. Absolutely, when it comes to Chipotle. And for what I find interesting, for the most part, it's had the same products most of this time, right? With, they've included a couple of new products over the years, but not many. And people sort of rely on this stock as a stock, and it as a restaurant, and in so many different areas. It's been consistent, but still growing.
And I like and I respect the fact that they've been able to grow that store footprint. I just moved. I don't live in downtown Chicago anymore, yet I'm closer to a Chipotle now, and it goes to show that they have scaled effectively. They're not just in really urban city centers. Yet the quality has remained, at least, where I can't see a seemingly a drop off. And the only other company, and it's a totally different one, I like to make comparisons from time to time because I think it gets that point home, is Lulu. Lulu has scaled dramatically, yet that perception of the brand quality has remained. And if you're going to be a company that is at a premium price point, of which Chipotle and Lulu both are, you're going to need to hold on to that perception that your product is worth spending a little bit more on, and both of them have done that quite nicely.